Apparently it is recording, so that's fantastic. All right, cool. Which means, I guess, in theory, I could upload this to YouTube if I get so inspired. But I have no idea whether I can get away with that. So let's start reviewing cards because I've only got so much time. 50 minutes is just nowhere near enough. Every other expansion where I've done this, I've gone way over time. So we're going to truly get like Micro Machines-esque on this stuff. Apparently, those are the most recent cards viewed. So let's just go down to class. There we go. Druid. All right. Gonk the Raptor. I was originally a little underwhelmed by this. When I saw Pounce, I was slightly whelmed about this. When I saw Brian Kibler's stream and he used Gonk the Raptor and a Floop to make 2 Gonk the Raptors, which meant that when you attacked and killed a minion, you got 2 extra attacks. And he killed a bunch of minions and then attacked face like 5 times. I was super excited about Gonk. I'm pretty sure Gonk just goes into control druid decks and it's probably going to be pretty good. I think I'm probably a little higher on Gonk than most people are. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. War Druid Loti is underwhelming. It's kind of useful, and sometimes being useful and versatile works really well for a card. I suspect at this point Druid is just too powerful and we're not going to see War Druid Loti in Druid anytime soon, but you never know. Stampeding Roar, great epic spell. It's very powerful, and I suspect we will see something trying to abuse that. I assume it will actually be good in the metagame. Whether it sticks or not, it's a different story. We shall see. Predatory Instincts is a cute card. I don't think it'll do anything. I mean, like, obviously you're thinking, oh, I could draw into Witchwood Grizzly. Yeah, you could, but I think Druid can do way more powerful things than that, so that's not really worth doing for now. Tree Speaker, the problem with turning your 2/2s into 5/5s is they don't really get to value trade very much before turning them into something, and once you turn them into a 5/5, they don't get to attack again. So what's probably going to happen is your minions are not going to attack for long. I think Tree Speaker is just not great. Mark of the Lower, this is better than I think people give it credit for. 2 3/2s for 4 is okay, especially if you're going wide. +2/+4 isn't as great, so this is probably not going to make the cut. Oh, they're starting that truck up again. Damn them. So I think probably not for Mark of the Lower. Spirit of the Raptor. With Gonk and Pounce, which we're getting to, this is probably actually quite playable. I think with Ultimate Infestation, Druid probably doesn't need Spirit of the Raptor at this point. But maybe once Ultimate Infestation rotates out, this is going to be truly good. Or maybe it just turns out this is super good, and Spirit of the Raptor will see a lot of play now as well. But I'm pretty sure because of Pounce, all of these things are possible. Ironhorde Direhorn. What's it called? War Golem. War Golem with upside. Is the upside enough? I mean, it's pretty good. Like, see, if you're playing deck recipe on deck recipe, this thing would be really good. It's probably hugely good in Arena. But currently, Druid just does really, really big and impressive things, and this is not quite that. Maybe post-rotation. Pounce, I think, is probably the best card in the set. 0 mana, the price is right. It's just like, you know, sometimes you cast Ultimate Infestation and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have hand size issues, which incidentally are not really an issue. I just want a good solid tempo play. Like, Pounce is there every time. I just need to nourish to get some stuff. Suddenly, bah, you drew into Pounce, you get to hero power and that to take something out. It's just so solid. I think Pounce is fantastic and makes everything else work. I think Pounce is probably a 2 of in control Druid decks for a while to come. Savage Striker is less impressive than I think Blizzard wants it to be. It was better in the deck recipe deck that I played at the pre-release than I thought it would be, which means maybe post-rotation it might be fine with some more support. But right now, again, I think Druid is just doing too many great things. That means Savage Striker is not going to be great. Hunter. Halazi the Lynx. I was less impressed with Halazi the Lynx than some others have been. I think that it's pretty understated, and filling your hand with 1/1s is pretty cool, but like, I don't know, they just don't seem that strong. That said, Rage, who is a rank 1 player, rank 1 legend player, did some interning with Blizzard this year, tweeted that he is ready to play with this card. He just tweeted 4 pictures of this card and said, I'm ready. And Ixar, who's the senior developer, replied, hey man, at least we reduced the health by 1, which means that it was better in testing and Rage was fully on top of it. So maybe this card is a lot better than I'm thinking, and I'm excited to find out. We shall see. Zul'jin, I'm super excited about this card. I've seen a lot of people saying, day 1 golden craft. I'm not going to day 1 golden craft this. I'm going to try and make legend with this so that I can craft it golden that way, because that's what I do. I really think Zul'jin is fantastic. It's a tidier, probably slightly better balanced Yogg-Saron. Yogg-Saron's just all over the place. It's just a bit bonkers and unreliable. Zul'jin feels a lot more reliable. You probably need to retool your Spells Hunter deck so that it's not playing some stuff that does punish you for the random targeting. But that's possible. It's also quite possible that the random targeting, you just live with it and go with it, and Zul'jin is just incredible. And maybe I'm overhyping it, but I'm pretty excited to be playing Zul'jin. It sounds like fun to me. I quite like the idea of Master's Call. Why is there 2 Hunter epics and only 1 Druid epic? How very odd. I don't know how accurate that is. Anyway, look, Master's Call. I think this has some promise. The kind of deck that has to play this is a deck that runs only beasts. I don't think you can afford to not run beasts in this, because paying 3 mana to discover 1 card and not putting a Stitch Tracker in play, I don't think is good enough. In fact, a lot of the time Stitch Tracker is not good enough, and you get a 2/2 out of it. So this, Master's Call, for it to work, you need to have all beasts. I think you can do that, though, probably with a Secret Hunter shell. And so Zul'jin can probably fit in that. Like Zul'jin revealing more beasts and putting them in your hand is fine too. But I think it doesn't necessarily have to be mono Spells Hunter. You don't need to rely on like Rok'Talar and To My Side, although Zul'jin with To My Side is pretty exciting. But Master's Call, I think, is possible. Whether that's better than Death Rattle Hunter, I don't know. But I'm sure people are going to try. The Beast Within is not very impressive. You can attack with the minion and then give it +1/+1 and it'll attack something else. But for 1 mana, you wouldn't expect too much, and for 1 mana, that's okay. Sometimes 1 mana you don't want to put in your deck. At this point, a 1 mana enabler for something from Death Rattle Hunter, you want to be able to trigger Death Rattle, so Play Dead, things like that. Even Hunter's Mark is fantastic in Death Rattle Hunter, because you just make your cube 1 health and just run it into something to pop it when your opponent thought that you weren't going to be able to. The Beast Within doesn't do anything like that. It does do stuff with Beast decks, but Beast decks don't seem to need that. So I think the Beast Within probably won't make the cut. Bloodscalp Strategist is a pretty cute card. At first we thought there weren't enough weapons. Of course, now there's Headhunter's Hatchet, so there are enough weapons. But again, I think that is just too underwhelming to where Constructed Hearthstone is right now. I think that everyone has much bigger and more fancy things to do than Bloodscalp Strategist. Maybe it becomes a thing later on and becomes good, but right now I don't think it is. Revenge of the Wild. A lot of people are quite high on this. To me, I think you've got to have a bunch of stuff on board before it makes it worthwhile. And I'm not interested in playing Unleash the Hounds Revenge of the Wild, even though that's probably okay. I think this is being overhyped. And it's the kind of thing that you need to be winning to make it work for you. And if you're already winning, then you don't need it. I think if you're losing, this does nothing, and therefore it's not great. Spirit of the Lynx. I was quite impressed with this at the pre-release. I thought 3 mana was a lot to be paying, and it is. But once you're on turn 5 and you happen to be playing some Lynxes, that's actually pretty impressive. And then, of course, you start turn 6 with it still in play. You do get a fair amount of value out of that. It is a big ask for Hunter to be taking a tempo hit to play this, but it already does that with Devilsaur Egg and stuff these days. The real downside of the Spirit of the Lynx is it's not a beast, so you can't put it in the Beast Hunter deck. Baited Arrow, I mean, Death Rattle Hunter doesn't need a 5 mana card. Beast Hunter probably doesn't need a 5 mana card. It's not a bad card. It's like Bane of Doom, but Bane of Doom doesn't see a lot of play, so I don't know about Baited Arrow either. Headhunter's Hatchet, I think, is incredibly strong. It's just not fancy. Don't worry about whether you got a beast or not in play. You just play it as is, and if you have a beast, that's even better. Spring Pour, I think, is really good as well. Any Hunter deck that ran Firefly probably just runs Spring Pour instead now. Or if it's Quest Hunter, it runs both, but let's not get ahead of ourselves there. I think Spring Pour is really solid. It's going to see a lot of play over the next year and a half. Mage, Hexlord Malacrest. I think Hexlord Malacrest is pretty neat and a cool idea. The fact that if you're playing some kind of control mage, this gives you a lot of extra flexibility and tools to use is really good. Control mage has to be able to deal with a aggro deck to be able to get use out of this, because you're not always going to be playing against control matchups. Like if you're playing against Kingsbane, Hexlord Malacrest doesn't do a lot for you. But it does give you a lot of value in a grindy matchup. That said, now that we've seen Genelai the Dragonhawk, I think odd control mage is probably going to be the flavor of the day. And I think Genelai the Dragonhawk is going to be pretty cool. It's certainly going to be a lot of fun. And I suspect it's going to be pretty good, better than people expect. I did use it at the pre-release. I did get to play it. I could have played it at turn 7, but I think I had to play something to clear a board first. I could have played it at turn 7, but then my Ragnaros would have been kind of exposed. So I played it at turn 8. It was fantastic. They had a Voodoo Doll because they were also playing Mage, so that wasn't as cool, but it was pretty easy to get the Ragnaros out. Blast Wave. Blizzard freezes things, and that's good. Dragon's Fury does more damage than Blast Wave. This doesn't do enough. It doesn't do what you want it to do well enough to be worth it, which means that the ability to get the spells out of it has to be the upside. Hey Hawk, good to see you. And maybe Quest Mage wants to get the spells out of this and it'll make it work. Maybe it won't. I don't think Blast Wave is quite good enough. Unless even Shaman is the story of the day and everyone's just playing 2 health minions, Blast Wave probably not amazing. I mean, if Odd Paladin is everywhere as well, it could be okay. But again, Like if they were to play Level Up or Fungal Mancer on you, then you'd be like, oh, I can't Blast Wave anything anymore. Splitting Image is a cute secret. At this point, the way Mage has been building, I don't see a lot of minions that you want an extra copy of. I mean, they're still going to be attacking that original minion. You just have a second copy of it now. Like, could you protect your Ragnaros? Yeah, you could, but they'll probably just attack Genelai the Dragonhawk. I mean, if they are psychic, they'll attack your Genelai the Dragonhawk, right? But not everyone is going to be. And if you were to drop Genelai and Splitting Image in the same turn, they're going to be like, I need to get that Rag off the board before it kills more of my minions. Maybe you'll get an extra Rag, but like, it seems like a pipe dream. I don't think that deck needs Splitting Image. God, I hope that truck's pump isn't too loud. Pyromaniac, a 3/4 for 3 Spider Tank, good deal. Is it worth having in your constructed deck? Not entirely sure. Whenever your Hero Power kills a minion, draw a card. That's a reasonable ability. You don't want to do it too often, though, because the kind of deck that we're talking about here is probably quite a slow deck that is eventually maybe going to get to fatigue. If you are Odd Mage, it's much easier to trigger this. And that's pretty good, but I don't know. I think this is probably a pretty sweet arena card. Probably not going to play it in constructed. Thank you for the follow Kurt Ice. Spirit of the Dragonhawk. So obviously Odd Control Mage is not going to use this because it's not odd. But I think Spirit of the Dragonhawk means that if you wanted to play a non-odd Control Mage and make use of Genelai the Dragonhawk and stuff, you can. So this is just in case you wanted to do something other than play Odd Mage, you've got the opportunity to do so. But I think Odd Mage is going to be better than Spirit of the Dragonhawk Mage. But you never know. Maybe having access to Blizzard and things and not having a 2-power hero, 2-damage hero power means that regular Control Mage is better. Scorch, I mean, Scorch is a good card, but I don't really want to be playing Elemental Mage. Elemental Mage hasn't seen a great deal of support. It's just not been good enough. Arcanosaur here is a pretty good Elemental, like, you know, dealing 3 damage to things is okay. Does that make playing Scorch worthwhile? I don't know. We have Elemental Evocation here to make your Elementals cheaper. Again, all of these things just don't seem good enough. Scorch is a spell. Elemental Evocation is a spell. To make Elemental Mage work, or any Elemental deck, you need a lot of Elementals, and for every spell you're putting in, it's not an Elemental, you're breaking your Elemental chain, and maybe it doesn't fall off. And it just doesn't seem as powerful as some of the other things that decks are doing out there. Daring Fire Eater. This is really good. I think this is really good. Like, if you look at this as a regular Mage deck, 3 mana for a 1/1 that deals 3 damage to something, that's actually pretty good. It's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, what was that? Was that an insect biting my arm? I hate that. In Odd Mage, it's even better. And when you're trying to turn on your Genelai the Dragonhawk, it's fantastic. It's very versatile. I like it. It's a lot like Arcane Blast, so I like that a lot. Moving on to Paladin. High Priest Thekal. Convert all of your health to 1 and to armor. It's a pretty strong card. I mean, it doesn't do anything in itself, but it does mean that your healing can heal yourself where maybe it wouldn't already have been able to do so. Downside, of course, Thekal is a legendary. You can't depend on drawing it. So you're not going to be able to build your deck around it as easily. It's a Spider Tank at least. I like that. I think if you're playing some kind of spell-based healing priest deck, you put it in there because you can, but you can't build around it. People saying that you want to play this in Wild with Molten Giant. What do you do if you don't draw your Thekal? You go, well, I'm not going to play this Molten Giant. Not only am I not taking damage, I want to heal myself, so ugh. Shivala the Tiger. I mean, she's strong. Is it worth building a deck around? I don't know. Like, the payoff of running a whole bunch of spells in Paladin is Shivala, and I don't know how worth it is. Divine Shield, Rough, Lifesteal. That's all good stuff. But you're probably already at full health anyway because you're playing heal stuff for all the spells, maybe. Lifesteal Rush, Divine Shield Rush, yeah, that's good. Practically free, probably good, I guess. But, like, Mage is going to get a Ragnaros. Like, this is okay. I guess. I don't know. Maybe it is going to be better than I think. Maybe there's going to be a way to abuse it where they get more of them. But I think even Linessa Sun Sorrow is better than this. I don't know. A new challenger, I definitely don't like it. Steven Sensei, good to see you. I think 7 mana for a 6 mana minion is too much to pay, even if it has a couple of extra abilities. It's too easy to kill minions without caring about the fact where they have Taunt or Divine Shield. For many classes. So paying more mana for a 6 mana minion than you should does not seem like a good deal. Not to mention you don't have control over which 6 mana minion you get. I just don't like it. It's probably fine in Arena, but I'm not going to play it. Immortal Prelate. Prelate? Prelate. Ben Thompson told me it was Prelate. This is a cute card. Clearly you are building your deck around it. You can put 2 of them in your deck, which makes it easier to build around. Micro Machine through the New Zealand version of Machine Gun, though. Yeah. Oh, can you still hear that over there? Oh, it's like a drain inspections thing. I'm so sorry about this noise. Ruining my day. You can build around Immortal Prelate. Whether it's worth doing, I don't know. You can tutor it out with Call to Arms, which I think is probably necessary, which means you want to have a few more non-buff minions, because like this isn't like Kingsbane where you can depend on drawing it if you don't have extra ways of tutoring it. So you need to be able to bring it out. I don't know how good the deck is, but it's pretty neat. Prelate does hold buffs from other people, so if they equality it or they shrink ray it, it's just not good for it. But you know, it could be a cool deck. Spirit of the Tiger, I played this at the pre-release in my Rastakhan's No Cards Bard. I had one of them, so I put it in the deck. It was better than I thought it was. But I think my opponent's deck also wasn't very good. It's very slow. It just makes XX minions. They don't have abilities. They don't have rush. It's probably fine, but like you have to spend 4 mana on this before you can have your spells turning into minions. So it's an investment, and I think it pays off eventually, but not straight away, and it's probably pretty easy for your opponent to kill. I'm not sure how good it's going to be. Faraki Battle Axe. So what's interesting about this is it's odd, so Odd Paladin could play it. Whether Odd Paladin wants to play it's a different story, but like Odd Paladin getting to buff those 1 mana minions that it plays to make them more meaningful in the late game might be pretty good. I don't know that Odd Paladin needs it in a hurry, and after rotation, of course, Odd Paladin may not even be a thing without level up, or even Fungal Mancer. But maybe this is something that helps Paladin in the long run. We shall see. Great, the truck stopped. I bet it starts again though. Zandalari Templar. This only works if you manage to heal yourself for a lot. You're not always going to be able to heal yourself for a lot. So in the matchups where you want it to be really big and taunty, you could probably get it to be. In the other matchups where you're not going to get damaged very much, it's just a 4/4 for 5. Sorry, 4/4 for 4. Oh, it did start again. So, like, it's like Hooked Reaver. And I guess you play Hooked Reaver because you can, but part of the reason you're playing Hooked Reaver is because it's easier to turn it on in Warlock. Easier to turn it on in Warlock than Zandalari Templar is in Paladin. And you get it back with Gul'dan. And you're not getting this back from anything, so I don't know. I mean, I guess you play it in the heal deck, but I could also see it just not making the cut in the long run. Bloodcore is solid. I would play this in Odd Paladin. I'm not kidding. Taking 5 damage, that's neither here nor there. It's 1/6 of your health. A 2/2 weapon for 1 is so good. Like, in playing even Paladin and Wild, having a weapon that drops out of 1/1 is so incredibly strong. This is kind of like that. It's just such good early tempo. Hey, Contaga, thank you as well for turning up. I really like Bloodclaw. I think maybe I'm overvaluing it, but I think it's going to see more play than people realize. I definitely think it'll play in Odd Paladin and Wild. I mean, not to mention that an odd deck could run Ziliax if they were really cared about the damage. Anyway, Flash of Light. It's clearly a healing spell for Paladin. It replaces itself. That's pretty good. I mean, you don't really want to play it on turn 2. Like, I guess if you play a Crystallizer on turn 1, or the weapon there, what was it called? Bloodclaw. You can heal yourself on turn 2. I think I'd much rather put a minion in play than draw another card. This is the kind of thing you play on turn 6 or 7 when you're needed to get more gas. It's pretty efficient for what it does, though. Timeout. I think a lot of other people like Timeout more than I do. I don't think it does what you want it to do. It's not Ice Block. Ice Block is set and forget, and then you're done. You have to play this the turn you think that you need it to be played, which means you're not playing something else. The value of Ice Block is that you set it, you forget it, and then you get to keep doing your game. You're never hampered by the money you want to spend. You can't just play this on turn 3. It does nothing if you play it on turn 3. This is not Ice Block, and I don't think it's worth playing. That said, somebody will probably prove me wrong. They'll create some kind of combo Paladin deck, and currently there aren't very many of those, and they'll pull it off, so who knows. Priest. Bumswandi the Dead. I don't see it. Like, I see people, oh, Big Priest, oh yes, you get giant minions that cost 1. It's like, not really. Like, for this to work, you've got to put a bunch of 1 mana minions in your deck, which means playing with, where is it? It's the Spirit. Here, Spirit of the Dead. Stuff 1 turn, of course. For any minion dies, put a 1/1 copy of it into your deck. Like, if you're playing big minions and shuffling 1-cost copies in, that's pretty good, but I don't think you can pull that off very often. If you're just shuffling 1-cost copies of small minions in your deck, okay, I guess. But you don't want to put a card in play just to get cards into your deck. That card sits in play and doesn't do anything. But Swamdi the Dead, I guess, is the payoff for that. If you're playing some kind of cheaper, aggressive-y priest deck with Surrender to Madness, I mean, I guess that's what you're doing, then Bonswamdi the Dead is your payoff, but it has to be that deck. I don't think it works anything else. Princess Talanji is the kind of deck that does work with bigger things. With Seance, choose a minion, put a copy of it in your hand. Obviously, Talanji puts that into play. That's kind of neat. If there are other ways of getting minions into your hand that didn't start there, that's probably pretty good. But like, it's just putting a bunch of stats into play. It could be good if that's what you want to work up to doing. I'm not incredibly impressed by it. I don't see a huge combo deck around that yet, but who knows? If you play Xerx's Cloning Gallery and a rogue vanishes you, then Princess Talanji puts them all back into play, but bigger. That's pretty cool. Seems unlikely that'll happen. Orkanai Phantasm, 2 mana, 3/2 is good value. Battlecry this turn, your healing effects are damage instead. So that's pretty good. So you can just play it as a Bloodsail, or what is it? Just a 3/2 for 2 on turn 2 if you want. Turn 4 you can play it along with your hero power for it to be like a Fireplume Phoenix. Those are all solid modes for this to be. And the fact that you can do either is pretty respectable. Of course, the fact that Priest can also do a bunch of other things like Circle of Healing and any other healing abilities like Regenerate, which is 0. Price again is right. I think this is a pretty sweet card. Do you want this over Organized Soul Priest? Maybe just play it in addition to Organized Soul Priest. Like, Organized Soul Priest Circle of Healing is a sweet combo, but you can only run 2 of each of those cards. Now you have 4 Organized Soul Priests if you want them, even if it's just for the turn. You don't expect Organized Soul Priest to live much long after playing Circle of Healing anyway. So maybe there's some critical mass here that means that that kind of Priest board control can work. Grave Horror. I mean, if there's a Priest deck that's playing a lot of spells, it wants Grave Horror. It seems pretty solid. I don't know how much there's a Priest deck that plays a lot of spells right now. Still, it's always going to be there. Mass Hysteria. It's not reliable board clear, but neither is Brawl. This may probably play a lot like Brawl. Something will survive. And that's probably fine for 5 mana. I think that's probably more playable than people realize. Sand Drudge. A 3/3 for 3 is okay. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 zombie with Taunt. That's not bad, especially when you have 0 mana spells. I mean, if you're playing the Organized Soul Priest combo, this is not the turn to be doing it. But, like, let's say you have a turn 5 or so, and you play a 0 mana spell and a 2 mana spell, you've just made a 3/3 and a couple of 1/1s of Taunt. It's kind of annoying for your opponent. This may actually be better than it looks. All right, let's get on to Rogue. Captain Hooktusk. This is like Call to Arms, but bigger. Now, are there enough pirates to make this work? Not really. A lot of pirates have battle cries, and you lose the battle cries when you pull them out. But this is like Call to Arms, where everything gets rush. And it's only 3 more than Call to Arms. I think this is probably pretty good. The question is whether there's a deck in which it works. I don't know, but it's kind of exciting. With the Ticket Scalper, that's quite cool. Getting a 5/3, it's worth 4 mana usually, a 5/3 with rush, that when it overkills something, you draw 2 cards. That seems like a pretty solid swing turn. Growl the Shark. I think it's better than I thought it was going to be. It's probably going to be a 4/4 for 5 that draws you a card. There's an ant on my camera. No, blowing on it didn't work. It's still on my camera. Hope it doesn't go inside the camera. A 4/4 for 5 is not really great, but Death Rattle draw a card is okay. If it's bigger than that, that's obviously good. If you're doubling the battle cry with the Spirit of the Shark, that's even better. If it gets silenced, that's the end of the world. Still, Growl the Shark sounds like fun and it's worth trying. Someone, of course, is going to stick a Darkness in there and woe betide anyone who has to face that down. But I don't think it's as good as, say, Odd Rogue. I mean, maybe you just put it in Odd Rogue, but maybe you eat a Firefly and you're not overly happy about that. And Odd Rogue wants 1-drops, so you can't skimp on those. Cannon Barrage. I mean, if you can build a pirate deck, it could be worth it. But you've got to have pirates on the board to make that do anything, and you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to do that. I don't really like Cannon Barrage. Maybe I'm wrong, but I suspect it's just a cute filler that doesn't get played. Gurabashi Hypemon. 7 mana is a lot to play for a 5/7, even if it discovers you a 1/1 copy of a Battlecry minion. Discover is not all. You don't get to pick the one you want. It's just a card. It's probably okay. Maybe you get something really good, like Captain Hooktusk or Growl the Shark, but maybe you don't. Who knows? Again, I don't know that quite makes the cut in any decks. Spirit of the Shark, that's really powerful, that ability. Doubling Battle Cries in combo is pretty solid. 4 mana is a lot to pay for it, though. We shall see. It may make something pretty good and wild now that you're basically playing 2 extra copies of Brand Bronzebeard. I don't know. Raiding Party. I'm not sure how well that fits in Kingsbane. I don't think it fits in Wild Kingsbane. Maybe it fits in Standard Kingsbane. Seems pretty good. Just drawing 2 pirates is pretty solid. Even if it's not Kingsbane, drawing 2 pirates and a weapon seems all right. Bloodsail Howler. Now, that's not a pirate that you want to put in your Hooktusk deck because it comes out as a 1/1. Just a 1/1. It's got rush, yeah, it had rush. Oh, well. But if you're playing a pirate deck, maybe it's all right. You've got to have a lot of pirates in play to make that work. And maybe that fan, Sharktooth fan or whatever it is, that makes a lot of 1/1s makes this better, but you've got to hope you have those in play. And like if you just have a fan and then you attack with your dagger making a pirate and then you play the Bloodsail Howler, it's only a 3/3. I don't know. Serrated Tooth, 1 mana for a 1/3 weapon. Does Rogue want that? I mean, Rogue can pay 2 mana for a 1/2 weapon, but that doesn't cost a card. Death Rattle give your minions rush. Well, it's all right. Still not entirely sure that's worth a card. It is worth a card when it's Candle Shot for a hunter, and it is worth a card when it's like comes with a 1/1 for warrior and stuff like that, but just on its own and gives your minions rush, not quite worth it, especially given rogue gets the weapon anyway. Stolen Steel, 2 mana, discover a weapon from another class. Is it your opponent's class? I don't know. Could you discover a legendary weapon? Or are there too many warrior weapons and hunter weapons fouling up the pool? It's hard to know. Could be fun. I don't think I want to spend 2 mana on this, though. I don't think I want to spend 2 mana on a chance. Walk the plank. Come on, truck. You can stop draining anytime soon. Maybe I should have gone for a different tree further away. Never mind. I'm really sorry. Hopefully the noise isn't terrible. Walk the plank. Destroy an undamaged minion. I played some of these at the pre-release. Was solid. It is kind of hard to make sure that your opponent will have an undamaged minion, though, because of Fan of Knives and stuff like that. Still, it's pretty solid. Sometimes your opponent makes a giant minion, and it's not damaged, and you just kill it for 4 mana or 1 mana with prep. Seems all right. Shaman. Cragwar the Frog. I don't know. It seems pretty good. I don't think you have to get a lot of value out of this for it to be good. I think people look at this and they're like, I don't want to be doing that. Like, it's just too much to ask to get that many spells into my hand. It's like, if you just get 2 spells from Cragwar the Frog, I think it's worth it. Like, a 6 mana 4/6 that draws you 2 cards, that are the kind of cards you definitely put in your deck, and are actually extra copies, that's all right. If you happen to play Unstable Evolution on stuff the turn before, you get several copies of Unstable Evolution back. I think this is all right. What kind of deck it goes in, I'm not sure. I actually think you would put this in Shudderwock. I don't think it's going to mess up your Shudderwock turn, because usually the turn before you play Shudderwock, you're not actually playing that many spells. And if you are playing a spell, it's maybe Hex and or Healing Rain, and Shudderwocking and getting a couple of those back is probably actually okay. But by and large, you're not playing Volcano or Lightning Storm the turn before you Shudderwock because they overload you. So I think you probably play that in this deck. It gives you the extra resources to get to your Shudderwock turn, probably doesn't always mess up your Shudderwock turn. I think the upside's higher than the downside. Zentimo is sweet. The downside to Zentimo is that when you play Unstable Evolution with it, the animations take ages. Nobody saw that coming. I played it at the pre-release and I was like, wow, that's a lot. Rod Johnson and Schwal, good to see you all. Oh, you hate Kingsbane. Yeah, I know. I know, Rod. Anyway, Zentimo is really slow, so watch out for that. I do listen. I just disagree. I mean, you can hate it. That's fine. I can like it. That's also fine. Anyway, Zentimo is a pretty sweet card. It does neat things. Probably multiple Shaman decks would kind of be the kind of thing that wants to play it. I think Shudderwock probably also still plays it. Because you just go 7 mana, Hex 3 of your minions. Thanks. That seems pretty solid. Big Bad Voodoo. It's like Ancestral Spirit. I don't know that we need that. I don't know. Like, maybe an Ancestral Spirit deck can now play technically more Ancestral Spirits. Like, if you're evolving Sun Fury Giants, they become Mountain Giants. So that's the same thing as becoming another Snow Fury Giant. So I think that's okay. Haunting Visions. This is not Farsight. Farsight draws you through your deck. It gives you a key card in your deck that makes it cheaper. That's solid. This makes any spell cheaper. Okay. Discover a spell. Never as good as you think it is. Lickham. That's a pretty strong card. Obviously a lot stronger in Wild. I did see some high-end Wild players saying that maybe Wild you just skip on the Jade package now and just go all in on Overload and Even Shaman. And that probably works. Maybe not even Even Shaman. Maybe you just don't have time for the... like you just go all of the Overload cards and forget about your hero power and this is just strong. I don't know. Solid card though. Bog Slosher. I saw a lot of people saying this definitely goes into Shudderwock. And I don't see why it definitely goes into Shudderwock because Youthful Brewmaster was already available and didn't go into Shudderwock. So people tried it. I guess the upside here is that if you do return a Saronite Chain Gang to your hand, that Saronite Chain Gang gets buffed. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, if you return a Glacial Shard to your hand, it's a bigger Glacial Shard, I guess. It's not helping your Shudderwock combo turn that much. But maybe the fact that it has an upside with Saronite Chain Gang means that it is worth playing now. I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. It'd be worth trying, though. Spirit of the Frog is better than I thought it would be. I played that at the pre-release. Just playing it on, like, turn 5 and playing a 1 mana, like, a coin to get a 1 mana card out of your deck, playing a 1 mana card, and the Totemic Smash we'll get to in a moment is totally good. To get a 2 mana card and playing it, putting a 3 mana card in your hand. Next turn it's still there because it had stealth, probably. That's pretty good. I think there's a lot of possibilities with Spirit of the Frog. The good thing is it draws the card from your deck as well. So you could, in theory, play this in a Shudderwock deck to be getting that drawing through your deck. It's kind of exciting. I like this. Reign of Toads. That's a lot of Overload. Maybe Overload Shaman can make this work. Maybe this is what makes Overload Shaman work. Maybe Mossy Horror is still going to see play because of Spreading Plague, and Raid of Toads is just dead on arrival. Totemic Smash, 1 mana, 2 damage, any target, that's all you need to know. The Overkill is there to trick you into thinking that you need to do something else with it. Yes, if you get the Overkill, that's great. No, you don't need the Overkill. 1 mana, 2 damage, any target, very good. You played against a Quest Rogue yesterday and stole a Brewmaster. It's not great in Shadowwalk. Exactly. Doing, good to see you. All right, Warbringer, Battlecry. If you played 2 spells this turn, deal 2 damage. I mean, that's a really good Battlecry, but playing 2 spells in a turn isn't always as easy as it sounds. But if you are playing some kind of Spirit of the Frog deck, maybe you can do that. We shall see. I think the downside of it just being a 2-1-for-1 isn't as downside as much as you think. That's probably fine. I can't quite think of a deck where you want that in yet, but it's possible. Warlock, High Priestess, Jeklik. I saw this at the pre-release. What's that? There's a follow from, is it Jamie? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. High Priestess Jeklik really overperformed at the pre-release. That said, pre-releases we were playing recipe decks. Maybe it's not as good, but it was really good. I'm quite excited to play this. Hyreek the Bat, haven't seen it played. Have seen some boards with big Hyreek the Bats on the board. You got to work a little bit to make it work, but maybe it's worth doing. I think everyone's going to be more excited to play Discard Warlock instead. Soul Warden, I played that at the pre-release. It was really good. Like, I had a turn where I played a Succubus with 4 cards in hand, one of which was a Soul Warden, right? And you're like, yeah, this is going to be good. No, because I discarded the Soul Warden. So that's not always great. But you know what happened? I drew my second Soul Warden, and I played it, and it gave me a Soul Warden. And I was like, when I play my second Soul Warden now, not my third one, because I discarded the first one, played the second one got me my first one back. When I play that first one again, it's going to get me another Soul Warden. And you know what? Maybe I'm going to discard too many cards between now and then, and I won't get back a 4th Soul Warden. But I'm pretty sure I'll be fine at that point. It was really strong. 6/6 for 6 is fine stats. Getting you a bunch of cards. Oh, it's solid. I really like it. Void Contract. Opposite. I don't like it. Destroy half of each player's deck. That does nothing. Maybe some decks get hurt by that. There are a lot of decks that are not going to get hurt by that. You're going to put that in your deck, and you'll be like, oh, hello, Odd Paladin. Ouch. Oh, hello, Odd Rogue. Ouch. It doesn't do anything against those decks. If you had a sideboard, yes, you could play it. And I know a lot of people think we should have sideboards in Hearthstone. This is the kind of card that tells me they're not going to give us sideboards, because then just Warlock's like, great, I'm going to put Void Contract in my sideboard for any combo decks. And then combo decks are going to be like, I'm just never going to exist because Warlock decks can have all the stuff in their sideboard. That kind of card tells me no sideboards. That kind of card is just bad. But it is there for the kind of people who think, I can make this work and it's going to be great. And I like that it's a puzzle piece for people who want that challenge. Shriek, such a strong card. 2 damage to all minions is really solid. And at 1 mana is so much better than the 3 mana we played for Demon Wrath. It's incredible. Like, if you're playing a Reno Lock deck, right? You want this. Like, it's just such a good early clear. Yeah, you discard a card, but it's not going to discard a card you actually care about because those cards are more expensive. Oh, I love it. Grim Rally. I think it's better than people think, and people seem to think it's pretty good. Mark of the Lotus was super good. This has a cost. That cost may not even be that bad. I think Grim Rally is going to see a lot of play. 1 mana on Shriek, 1 mana on Grim Rally. It's the perfect cost. Spirit of the Bat. Yeah, that reminds me of the Spirit of the Dead from Priest. You've got to have minions in play to get value out of it. I guess. And the problem is like, yes, buffing minions in your hand is okay, but you played a 2 mana 0/3 to get it. So like, there's a cost to getting those minions in hand. The only cards that have been truly good at buffing cards in your hand and worthwhile are ones that cost 1 mana, because 1 mana is effectively 3 and 2 mana is not. And effectively free means that you get the buffs on the cards in your hand for nothing, kinda, because there was going to be a time where you didn't spend that mana. Spending 2 mana on Spirit of the Bat is mana that you could have invested elsewhere, which means now you have a cost to buffing those cards in your hand, and I don't think it's quite worth it. Blood Troll Sapper. You know, now that I look at this, I haven't read this very often. After a friendly minion dies, deal 2 damage to an enemy hero. I might do some damage to your enemy hero. I don't think I want to play 7 mana to a 5/8, you know, in my aggro deck. It's just probably going to be something that kills people in the arena, and they go, oh god, I can't deal with that. I put a taunt in the way, but I'm still taking damage. Ugh. Demon Bolt. Destroy a minion, 8 mana. That's too much to pay for that. If you have 4 minions in play, of course it costs as much as the that one that sacrificed a mana crystal from Gadget's End, Blood something potion. I can't remember what it's called. Blood Crystal Potion, right? That's good. Siphon Soul. That's 6 mana, so you'd have to have 2 minions in play to make it work that. Then you don't get the 3 life. I think it's okay. I don't think you ever want to pay 8 mana for this. And when you really need to play this, you probably have to pay 8 mana for it. And I think that's a big cost. If there are ever going to be turns where you get to pay this for 5 mana, like, it's just Assassinate then. It's really when you want to play it for 4 mana that's worthwhile, I think. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure it really quite makes the cut. Reckless Die Troll. A 2/6 taunt for 3 is okay. It's not incredible, but it's okay. The fact that it discards a low-cost card, it's a cost. But maybe you make it work in a discard Warlock deck. I think a discard Warlock deck probably ends up playing it. Imagine if your lowest cost card is Jeklik, and that could be a thing. Is that what she's called? Yes, Jeklik. You could probably build a Jeklik deck where you're discarding your lowest cost cards and they just happen to be Jekliks because the deck is quite expensive. I think it's doable. Warrior. We're actually getting through there. We might do this. Akali the Rhino. I was not convinced at this at first, but I was quietly confident that maybe this would work really nicely with, what's it called? Vicious Scalehide. But there are more rush minions out there. Like, I think this could actually work. This could probably be pretty good with just like a bunch of mid-sized rush minions. Like, are you playing this with your Town Criers, your Ziliacs, and the Rapid Worgens, and your Vicious Scalehides? Because you can start playing Vicious Scalehides once you're no longer odd. Like, Akali the Rhino buffing those just adds a lot of stats. Now, obviously it's behind. Like, the stats are in your hand, so the tempo's not there, but they have rush, because it's a rush minion. So you're going to make up for that. And if it's Vicious Scalehide, that's super good. So I think Akali the Rhino might be okay. Whether there's a deck that actually wants it is a different story. But I like Akali. Warmaster Voon. I don't think Dragon Warrior is very good right now. It is good in the deck recipes, and Warmaster Voon is pretty okay in it. I saw a lot of people saying that they were glad they nerfed it from 5 mana to 4. I don't think Odd Warrior was really that high on having Warmaster Voon. Like, Emberscale Drake, yes, is a pretty solid odd-cost dragon. There aren't that many odd-cost dragons, though, so I don't think you were playing it in Odd Warrior because you needed to have a bunch of even-cost dragons to make it work. But oh well, Warmaster Voon is cheaper. Maybe they did test Odd Warrior with dragons and it was pretty good. Like, you know, maybe Nightmare Amalgam was enough. Smolderthorn Lancer is cute. I mean, I don't think Warrior needs Execute that often. Odd Warrior doesn't even need Execute. Oh yeah, Darius Crowley, of course, with the Akali is great too, yeah. I don't know that Smolderthorn Lancer is quite worth it, but I could be totally wrong. Soul Thraze is just a bit too expensive. Like 6 mana for a 4/4 weapon is okay. Overkill you get to attack again is okay. I think Warrior just has better cards than that. Maybe after rotation it's good. The Emberscale Drake, that is an excellent minion. That's a lot of armor for a 5/5 for 5, alright? That's pretty good. Is there enough support to make it work? It's like it's the best dragon you have in the deck, but is there enough support to make it work? I'm not entirely sure. Heavy Metal is not a good card. It's a shame. I asked Ben Thompson why the cap wasn't 11 mana, because 11 is one more, isn't it? And he said, I don't know, but that would have been the flavor text if he had had any say in it, and it's not the flavor text. I said, is it too late to change the flavor text? And he said, yes. Never mind. It is a bad spell. If you can get it to do what you want, you were winning, kind of, probably. Every other time, it's not going to do what you want. The thing is people are going to say it's great, because when it works, they'll see it. When it's not going to work, your opponent's not going to play it. You're not going to know the times it doesn't work. It's not a good card. Spirit of the Rhino. This is cute, but I don't think a rush deck with, like, Akali the Rhino wants it. Like, your rush minions are immune. Okay. All right. I guess. I don't know if that's worth spending a card on. Like, your rush minion survives, and you paid 1 mana to make it immune, which meant that 1 mana could have just been a second copy of the rush minion. Sure, it's a bit cheaper, but on its own, without a rush minion, it doesn't do anything. So, I don't know, it's a bit of a cost. Devastate, I like a lot. 1 mana is a great price to pay. Dealing 4 damage to a damaged minion pretty easily. Christopher Guest would be happy with you. Yes. Yes. Oh, good, the pump truck stopped again. Yeah, I very much like Spinal Tap. Devastate was really good for me at the pre-release. I don't know if Odd Warrior wants it, because Odd Warrior doesn't have a lot of ways to whirlwind things, but you know, it kind of does once you're Dr. Boom. And maybe they're just like, see, one of the problems that Warrior has is, and it's solved generally by Execute, is that if your opponent has a better minion than you and they value trade your minion, they've still got a damaged minion, but they've still got it, they can trade with something else. Things like Execute can finish it off, especially if it's really big, so that it doesn't get a good trade against something. Devastate is really cheap, and I think it's better than Execute in that sense. Like, there are some decks that I think just don't necessarily want Execute, but the decks that do have Execute are ones that are getting whirlwinding a lot. Odd Warrior can't whirlwind a lot, but this really makes up for you getting your your minions value traded, is that's just 1 mana easy to kill something. I think Devastate's better than people are thinking. Dragon Roar is kind of strong. 2 mana to add 2 random dragons to your hand. Like, we don't like this out of Mage, with the 2 random minions to your hand. There's too broad, it's starting again, there's too broad a range for that. There's not really a very broad range of dragons. Like, there is Dragon Egg a beast? I think it might be. No, it's not, is it? Like, maybe it is. Maybe it's a dragon, I can't remember, but there are a couple of dud little dragons you can get. But there are a lot of great dragons, and adding 2 great dragons to your hand, it's not bad. Overlord's Whip. I don't know how much Warrior needs a 3 mana 2/4 weapon. Damage your own minions is okay, but I don't know. This might be something that sees play later, but I don't know. Funnily enough, whenever I've played in a Pauper tournament, I've always played like a common Warrior deck that damages its minions. This is a common card. It would probably work quite well in that. Anyway, neutral cards, we're getting there. We are probably going slightly over time, so let's race through it. The Undertaker, probably really good. I don't think it's just a good value Death Rattle. I think it's a combo piece. It's the kind of thing you put in Wilds with Malorn and Hadronox, and you just go nuts with that. It probably goes nuts with Immortal Prelate. I think there's going to be some value there with the Undertaker. I think it's pretty solid. Grifter is cute. It doesn't look good. People are saying, yeah, it's okay. But it's better than people think, because you can try and high roll it, right? You could be playing the kind of deck where you can discover 2 cards, both of which are good for your deck and not really good for your opponent's deck. Like a Control Warrior could do that, for example. A Warlock deck could maybe do that. But there are going to be, of course, times when you're like, my opponent gets a good card and I don't, and that's not very good. So I don't think you're necessarily starting it in your deck. You're not unhappy to play it, though. Hakar the Soulflayer. I don't think it counters the decks that people think it counters very well. It's very expensive to play. I don't think it's very good. I think a lot of people are saying it's incredible. I'm not sure of it. I could be totally wrong. Mojo Master Zihi, I think that's really strong. I know a lot of people are like, I don't get it. I'm pretty sure it's going to do some solid things to people. I feel like it's a bit of a sleeper, solid, disruptive card, and we're going to see it pay off. I know Duin thinks it's good as well. All right, Ondasta, I think, is the neutral legendary that most people are thinking is really good in this set. And of course, part of that is because it just slots straight into Death Rattle Hunter. It's not as good in Beast Druid, right? Like the spell that puts a beast into play. Oh my god, if you put Undasta into play for 6 mana and then overkill something, you get another beast from your hand. Yeah, but what if that spell puts a different beast in the hand instead of Undasta? Yeah, it's not as good. But it's a really solid card. It probably does work in that deck anyway, even if that Dragon's... can't remember what it's called. I'm not going to scroll up. But like even putting another beast into play and still having this in your hand to put another big beast into play is pretty solid. Undasta, I think, is going to see a lot of play and a lot of people like it. Maybe it's actually overrated. I think it's really good. I could be wrong. Epics, Crowd Roaster. It's the big Flame Tongue Carvu. This is a pretty good ability. Holding a dragon, though, is a different story. But if you can make that work, then fantastic. It's a really solid ability to be able to kill an opposing minion. Sure, only having 4 health means it's a bit squishy, but if it's just a 2-for-1, that's pretty good. 7 mana is a lot, though. Still, imagine if you kill something and then get to attack with it. That's really strong. I think the downside is that there are a lot of 8/8s around these days, and this doesn't quite cut it on an 8/8. What's my favorite legendary pre-release raid? Ah, come on, it's got to be Zul'jin. That just looks so cool. But there are a lot of cool ones. I also like Gonk. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'll talk more about it on Walk to Work tomorrow. Gurubashi offering. No, we skipped one. Drakari Trickster. 3 mana, 3/4. That'll do. That's good enough. It's a spider tank. Give each player a copy of a random card from their opponent's deck. It's weird, but like imagine if you're playing the kind of deck where your cards synergize with your stuff but not your opponent's stuff. Imagine they're also doing the same. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Could be fun. Gurubashi offering. Bad. I don't want a 1 mana 0/2 that gives me 8 mana. 8 armor. I don't need it. Ice Cream Peddler. 4 mana 3/5. It's okay stats. Battle Cry. If you control a frozen minion, gain 8 armor. I don't need 8 armor so badly that I want to freeze my minions. Cool card though. Line Cracker. A 7 mana 5/10 is actually reasonable stats. Overkill, double this minion's attack. Ooh, scary. It's a lot of health. Like this is going to get to double its attack a lot if it gets played. I don't think it's worth playing. It's not a beast or anything like that. It'll kill people in Arena though. Mask Contender. 3 mana 2/4. Those stats are okay. Battlecry controls secret, play a secret from your deck. That's a reasonable ability. Most secret decks are probably going to do it. Wicked good. Thank you for dropping by. I'm almost done. Mask Contender I think is okay. I don't think any deck's going to play it very seriously though. But I could be totally wrong. Mosh Og Announcer. 5 mana 6/5 is okay. That's actually pretty reasonable stats. Enemies attacking this have a 50% chance to attack something else. Now, ogres, as we know, are the ones that have trouble attacking, but this one, people have trouble attacking it. I think that's actually quite strong. I don't know which deck wants to play this, but, You know, it wouldn't surprise me if an odd rogue could just drop this out there as a solid attack minion that's hard to kill with opposing minions, and it actually makes some work. This is what I sound like when we listen back to me and Andrew at 2x speed this weekend, yeah, right? Snapjaw Shellfighter. A 5-mana 3/8, whenever an adjacent minion takes damage, this minion takes it instead. I'm not seeing it. I did see some people saying that this is like a Fungal Mancer. I don't know. A Fungal Mancer buffs the minions and gets them to attack. This does protect minions, but I'm not that concerned about protecting minions. I guess 8 health is a lot when it's sharing the damage around, so maybe that's what the value is. A 3/8 for 5 is just really good. Not sure. Still, I'm sure someone will convince me. Hey, look, another Spider Tank. Untamed Beastmaster is a 3-mana 3/4. Whenever you draw a beast, give it +2/+2. It's not going to happen very often. Luckily, the downside is that you're playing a Spider Tank, and that's fine. So, I don't know if you want to intentionally put it in your deck, though. Arena Patron. It is not Grim Patron. Overkill, summon another Arena Patron. That's all right. But you only get to overkill when you attack. Whereas Grim Patron, you get to make a bunch of Grim Patrons without your opponent's say on it. Your opponent gets a lot of say as to whether you make Arena Patrons, therefore not as good. Belligerent Gnome. A 1/4 taunt for 2 is okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. If you can also get it to be a 2/4 taunt, that's also okay. Not amazing. Sometimes a deck needs that kind of thing. Booty Bay Bookie. Battlecry, give your opponent a coin. For 2 mana for 3/3, that's all right. Giving your opponent a coin is a big cost. Like, yes, a 3/3 for 2 is good, but it's effectively 3 mana. You've given your opponent the mana, you don't get to spend it. Maybe you didn't want to spend it, but most opponents are going to get to use it really very easily. I don't know that I want to put this in a deck, but maybe somebody will. Maybe you'll get to overdraw people. Maybe you put this in a Shadowhawk deck and give, no, coins, they can play coins. It's bananas we want to give them. Bananas, not coins, bananas. Fire Tree Witch Doctor. 2 mana 2/2, not very strong. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, discover a spell. I liked it when we were discovering a dragon for holding a dragon, not when we're discovering a spell. Maybe people are going to play it. I don't know. I don't think it's that great. Murloc Tasty Fin. 4 mana for a 3/2, not interested. Death Rattle, draw 2 cards from your deck. That's okay. They happen to be Murlocs. That's okay. I mean, at 4 mana, I want to play Gentle Megasaur. Maybe later. Serpent Ward. This is a neutral totem. Have we had a neutral totem before? I don't know. It's a 2 mana 0/2 totem, which shamans get from their hero power, so I don't know about that. And then you turn, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. I guess it gets past taunts. It's pretty fragile, though. If you had taunts, though, it's protected. Could be better than I'm thinking, but I don't think it's very good. Shield Breaker. 2 mana, 2/1. It's the old school Ironbeak Owl. Battlecry, silence an enemy minion with taunt. So it can't silence every enemy minion. It's not going to get a Carnivorous Cube, so it is not Ironbeak Owl. I think ideally you probably want to play Ironbeak Owl over this. But an even deck probably still wants to play Spellbreaker over this. But this is potential. This isn't bad. This is pretty good. And if big taunts become a thing, maybe this is worthwhile. I don't know. I think the difference here is it's not just that you want to slam it on turn 2. It's that you want to play other stuff alongside it. 2 mana is a lot less than 3 mana. It's just that Ironbeak Owl is so versatile when there's Carnivorous Cubes out there. Giving your opponent a coin is fine when you're playing Cold Light Oracles in your deck. Yeah, but it's not going to happen very often. Also, if they're playing Cold Light Oracles and you give them a coin, then you're just letting them play the extra cards you gave them. Soup Vendor, 2 mana, 1/4. Whenever you store 3 mana or more to your health, to your hero, draw a card. I think you're going to be jumping through hoops to do this. I don't think it's going to happen often enough. I don't think I want to play a 2 mana 1/4 that can't potentially be a 2/4. So I'm not so sure about the Soup Vendor. Just making myself comfortable. Water Boy, 2 mana 2/1. I've seen worse. Battlecry, your next hero power turn this costs 0. So it's kind of like a 0 mana 2/1, except that for a 0 mana 2/1, which is positive on tempo, you're then having to sink the 2 mana into your hero power. So maybe it's more like a 1 mana 2/1 in a sense. It's okay, but I can't see any deck that really wants to put this in the deck. I mean, if there was a deck that hero powers a lot, then you kind of get this for free. I don't know. I mean, like just an aggro hunter deck is probably quite happy playing this. Drop this on turn 2 and get 2 damage to the face. We shall see. Amani Warbear, a 7 mana 5/7 rush taunt. It's actually pretty strong. I'm not sure what deck I'm going to put it in, but I think it's going to see more play than people think. Arena Fanatic, 4 mana 2/3, give Battlecry, all your minions in your hand +1/+1. So there's a bit of tempo loss in this minion, and you're getting it all on the minions in your hand. It's not as bad as it looks. It is a tempo loss though, so I'm a little wary about playing that. Arena Treasure Chest, I don't want to play this. I mean, Death Rattle, draw 2 cards is nice, but they don't have to kill it, and you have to spend 4 mana to play it. And you don't get the cards straight away. I'm not so sure. Banana Buffoon, a lot of people are liking this, and I think I can see why. Adding 2 spells to your hand that cost 1, that's quite versatile. A 3 mana 2/2, not particularly strong, but not the end of the world. It trades okay. But those bananas, you could make a lot of use of those. You can use them to help a minion that's already in play trade. You can use them with Wild Pyromancer. This is all right. Obviously, you don't play this with Shudderwock, because you don't want bananas when you Shudderwock. Cheaty Ankle Biter, great name. Lifesteal for a 2-mana 2/1. Battlecry deal 1 damage. The Battlecry is pretty good. Lifesteal's kind of irrelevant. I mean, you get lifesteal on the damage you deal when you come to play, but like we already have a 2-mana 2/1 that does 1 damage, and it's a Murloc, and nobody really cares about that. People are saying things. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, everyone was enjoying their pre-list. It's great. Dozing Marksman, 2-mana 0/4, has 4 attack while damaged. So it's got to take damage. Your opponent doesn't have to do that. It's very hard for you to make it get damaged. So kind of like a 2-mana 4/3 with a condition. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't see it. Dragon Moor Scorcher. This is a super good dragon. I really like this. 5 mana for a 3/6. We currently have that option with a taunt. We don't play that. We also do play that with a taunt that shuffles in a 6/9 taunt, right? In Warrior. So 5 mana for a 3/6 taunt is kind of on the cusp, right? It needs a little bit more. This doesn't have taunt, but 1 damage to all of the minions is really good. Like, especially with Odd Paladin being a strong deck. This is a really powerful ability. Like, Warlock gets a 6/6 for 6 that does 1 damage to all minions, and is kind of happy to play that in even Warlock. Like, if there was an odd Dragon Warrior, it would probably definitely play this, I think. Because we're talking about the fact that it doesn't have ways to whirlwind things. This is a way to whirlwind things. So like maybe you're playing the 5 mana 5/5 that gives you armor and the 5 mana 3/6 that does 1 damage to everything, and then a Devastate alongside of it on turn 6. Like, This also doesn't require you to have a dragon in hand, so it can be the last dragon you play. I like this a lot. Former Champ. It's an Evolve Nerf. A 5 mana 1/1. Battlecry summon a 5/5 hotshot. Fine, whatever, don't need it. Gurabashi Chicken, 1 mana 1/1. Worse than Angry Chicken. Not saying much, is it? Halftime Scavenger, 4 mana 3/5 with Stealth. It's okay. Overkill, gain 3 armor. You might actually gain a bit of armor from this. I don't know that it's worth playing a 4 mana 3/5 for it, though. Helpless Hatchling, it's cute. It doesn't do very much. I don't want a 1 mana 1/1 that doesn't do that much. 8 mana 2/14 Taunt Divine Shield, Mosh Ogon Enforcer. Mosh Og Enforcer. That's a mouthful. I don't want this if there are mossy horrors out there. And if there are spirits that are making people play Stampeding Coders out there, I also don't really want this. It is going to be hard to get through. It's definitely a silence target, though. Ornery Tortoise, 3 mana 3/5 is a reasonable deal. 5 damage to yourself is okay too. Like, it's not that bad, especially if you're getting a tempo positive minion. The Gurabashi Chicken from Rexar building. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that could be okay. But gaining +5 attack is only all right. Like once you've overkilled something, you're damaged, which means you won't live for long after that. And having +5 attack is okay, but it's not incredible. Still, a cheap minion from Rexar is good. Rebel Bouncer, 7 mana 2/7 taunt, probably costs less because your opponents will have minions. Again, it's the same problem with the Mosh Og Enforcer. I got the name right that time. A 2-attack taunt. Like, it's a defensive minion, right? But being a 2-attack defensive minion is a liability these days. Regenerate and Thug, 4 mana 3/5 again. Again, I'm not 100% sold on that stat line. At the start of your turn, restore 2 health to this minion. It's actually pretty reasonable. It's probably not terribly difficult for your opponent to kill this in one shot. But if it is tough for them to kill it, this could do a lot. This could be better than it looks. Rumble Tusk Shaker, 4 mana 3/2. No, those are not stats I'm happy for. Off my laptop, Beetle. Death Rattle, summon another one. It's not the same one. It's a Rumble Tusk Breaker, so you don't get infinite of them. It's an alright Death Rattle. I mean, it's smaller than a Piloted Shredder, right? Piloted Shredder is a 4/3 with a similar Battlecry, because the Battlecry here is worth about 2 mana. So this is like a smaller Piloted Shredder. Is that good enough? It might actually be good enough. I think even Shaman, for example, probably wants something like this. I don't know. It's the first time I thought about that. All right, Serenite Taskmaster. I think this is pretty good. A 1 mana 2/3 is really good value. The fact that it gives your opponent a 0/3 free agent with taunt is not incredible, but it's also not as bad as it sounds. The fact that you probably have to fight around that taunt to continue being able to trade with your aggressive opponent's minions is a downside, but the upside is you started with a 1 mana 2/3, which helped you initially. So I think it works out. You can mess up some big priests and things like that. People who are resurrecting stuff, that's an upside. Scarab Egg, this is a reasonable egg. 1/1s aren't very strong, but a 2 mana 0/2 egg is okay. Sure, it's no Nerubian egg, but I think these are okay. Defile is obviously going to mess this up in the long run, but you know, past rotation, maybe this is really solid, especially if there's some kind of token strategy. We're almost done. We're almost done. Everyone enjoying themselves, I hope. I can see lots of chat that I can't keep up with. Sharkfin fan, that's what it's called. 2 mana, 2/2. Not incredibly impressed with it, but I played with it in the recipe deck in an even rogue, and it was actually pretty good there. I did make a lot of 1/1 pirates, so maybe this is actually a thing that can work out. Sightless Ranger, more insects on my laptop. 5 mana, 3/4 with Rush, kind of undervalue. Overkill, summon 2 1/1 bats, pretty reasonable overkill ability. If you can get that to trigger twice, that's not bad. I'm pretty sure that you trigger it once and then your opponent has to kill it. Because if they don't and you get 4 bats total out of this, you've got a lot of value. Obviously pretty reasonable in Arena, not 100% sure in Constructed. Spellzerker, 2 mana, 2/3. Those stats we have figured out in the last year, pretty reasonable. Hey, a mini Cairn, that's one way to look at that Rumble Shaker thing or whatever, Rumble Tusk thing. A 2 mana, 2/3 is okay. Has 2 damage, 2+2 spell damage when damaged. Like, this could be pretty good in Mage, right? Mage was playing Imani Berserker because not only was it a 2/3 for 2, but you could Hero Power it to make it attack for 5. This doesn't do that, but this could give you a really solid spell damage turn if it's damaged. Like, you're like, all right, I don't even want to spend a Hero Power on this. I'm just going to tag one of your minions. Now all my spells are super live, like super live. My God, everything's getting smashed really hard. That's pretty solid. Last card to cast is Ticket Scalper. Not really worth running on its own, I don't think. But if you're playing the Captain Hooktusk deck, I think you want to play it in there. So it's pretty good. Anyway, that's all of the cards. We got there. I went over time. Obviously, I went a bit longer than 50 minutes. I've been streaming for 58 minutes, and I didn't... Well, maybe I did do it in about 50 minutes, or just over. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube. It'll be rough. I won't upload it to YouTube if that truck's drainage thing was too loud.